Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Wednesday, July 2nd. It is day 35, and possibly the last day of the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial. Yesterday, as many have seen, around 4:05 p.m., the jury sent out a note, and here's what it said. They've reached verdicts on 4 of the 5 charges. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. But they remained, so they had some unpersuadable views on count 1 RICO. Combs looked devastated. Devastated, let me say this. I think I used the word catatonic. He literally sat in his chair, staring in the air, staring down. The lawyers scurried around. They opposed Judge Subramanian giving a so-called Allen charge, which basically would say, jurors, no future jury is going to have any more information than you have. Implied it would be a big waste of time and money to do this again for 8 weeks, so try to reach a decision without, of course, capitulating. Now, defendants often say that that charge is a implicit strong-arming for a verdict which is often guilty. So they haven't given it yet. If today they come out and say they're still deadlocked, you can expect a modified charge. I would say probably a light Allen charge. Would he then ramp it up to a strong Allen charge? I don't know. Would he bring them back in on the 3rd? Anyway, I'm speculating. It could be over as early as this morning. They could reach a decision. Also, they could be asking questions and for more evidence about the racketeering charge. They could be acting as they try to persuade each other. What's the breakdown? See, nobody knows these things. I did I think it's called True Crime. I did it, and it's difficult to talk about these things right now. That's why I won't. I'll say more about that later. But it's hard because everyone's saying that they know what it is, and they don't. Actually, we could go over all the permutations. Since they didn't ask any questions about Jane, does that mean they don't think that Jane was sex trafficked? You certainly have the Mann Act charges, it would seem. Anyway, not for me to say. We're going in. This could be the last. This day 35 could be the last day, and I'll tell you that I'm already well along in week 8, the book of the Sean Combs trial. Now, before we get there, there's a huge panoply in front of the courthouse as I approach. We also yesterday covered the United Nations new head of the Security Council for July, Pakistan. We wrote to them and said, hey, we got some questions, not only Kashmir, but also new child rapes by the UN. And these events were described sexual abuse of a child called exploitation, kind of implying that it might be legit to purchase sexual favors from a youth. Only at the UN, an absolute outrage. And so we asked them to clarify. No answer. Not just from Antonio Guterres and his spokespeople, but from Pakistan, whose ambassador I know from having, when I was a resident correspondent inside the UN, perfectly fine guy when he was political coordinator, but he's now responsible for this censorship machine over which he presides. Also, of course, we'll have an eye on the House of Representatives today. The Senate pushed it through 50-50. Last night, the Rules Committee, and now coming up today or tomorrow, based on storms in D.C., the bill. But take a look at the scene. Take a look at the scene here. We've got joggers. We've got the scene in front of the courthouse. We've got the TV cameras across the street. And we've got Diddy, Inner City Press. We're going in.